Hey there, welcome to my office, Erik the Flutemaker, with an idea whose time has come. We're bringing out some old flutes that we ended up making a long time ago and are not available on our website at eriktheflutemaker.com. And one of them is the Japanese koken flute. This was inspired by a customer who said, "Can you make me a flute with this scale?" And this was the product. It's a 5-hole flute, and I recommend one simply thinks Japanese when you play it. So that would be more of a... So because we're in a time that we need to relax, that would be one in a set of 4. And let's talk a little bit about the other flutes. And the most ancient one was inspired by an article I read in 2009, I believe it was. And this would be it. And here it says, "Ancient Flute sheds light on origins of music." And the date would have been, June 28th, 2009. And then they printed the picture of a flute that was found in a cave in Germany. And in that cave, at the same level they found this in 12 different breaks, were some relics of mammoths. So this is known as the Ice Age flute. And at that time they were saying it was 35,000 years old. So what I basically did, I took, believing that this might have been the place where air split, I gave this a little bit more room for tone. Air splits here. I took this hole and put it in the back of the flute. And then I basically was inspired to find what nice notes would have been on that flute. So I concert tuned these instruments, these holes here. And if you look very closely down here, that is actually a broken hole, which would represent this guy down here. And then the instrument would have continued, and we cut it off where it was actually in tune with the instrument. So the sound of the inspired Ice Age flute. What's pretty cool about this is the hole in the back can be half holed and you get 2 notes. Another flute in the Ancient set was inspired by a 9,000-year-old archaeological dig in Henan, China. It was a community of potters. And when I found this, and they mentioned the different sizes, we blew the picture up, and I reproduced this one, and this one, and this one. I made a bunch of these, and came up with the basic Asian pentatonic scale. And this note. And there's an ancient technique in China, Japan, and India where they make a flute longer and tune it by different holes. So I took liberty to tune this note in harmony with these guys. And here basically is where the air would have split. I gave it a little bit more because we're dealing with a wider instrument, a little more to balance out the tone. So this flute I call the Jiahu crane flute. If you get the set, it'll be called your Jiahu crane flute. instrument, was inspired by a flute that was found in kind of a pueblo apartment inside a cave at the Four Corners that reached, I guess, Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, whatever it was. And this was like in a mesa, kind of with a big roof of the cave, and there were adobe buildings in it. And in one of the apartments was a big stone. And in 1931, this gentleman that was running around looking for beautiful pottery for different museums, lifted up the stone, and under the stone were two flutes that were tied together with yucca rope, and these were long rim blown flutes. And it was found later when they reproduced the flutes in 1951 that the root note, or all closed, was B flat. So we have that on our website with the Andean way of playing. Some are side blown. And what we've done for the set was we've taken the B flat note and created a higher voiced one and easy to play using the padding of the fingers, soft lip, grin, spit watermelon seeds, press, and roll is how you're playing side blown flutes. So here is the sound of the Anasazi flute in the Ancient Flute Set, dating back to the year 624. The Anasazi flute. Some thoughts on the Anasazi flute. I found that this note is kind of bizarre. So by keeping the peace sign fingers together and going in this way, the scale is very, very nice. The top note has an interesting, almost like a calling out or a longing, and it gives a sense of nostalgia, because a lot of people believe that that group kind of just disappeared and no one really knew where they were. You'll hear that again as I play, but keep those peace sign fingers together on here. Well, this is the Ancient Set. The Japanese koken, the Anasazi, the Chinese Jiahu crane flute, and the Ice Age flute. The other day I made 45 sets, which I believe is 180 flutes, because you look marvelous and I am motivated. Free shipping. Attention flute shoppers, the Ice Age flute without the reverb. Look, ma, no reverb. Japanese koken flute without the reverb. The Anasazi flute. And the Jiahu crane flute. So these are the flutes that I've prepared for the Ancient Flute Set. The Japanese flute for an Asian feel, the Ice Age flute for that ancient of days feel, the Anasazi for a Native American feel, and the Jiahu crane flute for, again, kind of a misty mountain Asian feel. And we're also going to throw in, as best we can, some literature to help you navigate through them. And we want to thank you for stopping by. So the Ancient Flute Set at eriktheflutemaker.com.